U.S.S. Defiant NX-74205. This is BlueBrixx Star Trek set 104965. It was released in October 2022 for about €220. This construction block set consists of 2,856 pieces, which are compatible to bricks by other building blocks companies like Lego, Kobe, Mega, and so on. Shortly before this set was sold out, there was a BlueBrixx sale where you could get the set for about €92. Nowadays, you will have to look for it at the second-hand market because BlueBrixx won't restock the set. BlueBrixx couldn't renew their Star Trek license. And at the moment of recording this video, at the second-hand markets, you have to pay about €180 for a used set if you are lucky. And if you are even more lucky, you can get a still sealed box for €220. But it's quite common that people sell their sets for €250 or even €300. So yeah, just be patient and look a lot around. Maybe at some point you will get a cheap version of the set. This is a display-sized model. BlueBrixx produces or produced Star Trek sets as mini models, as mid-sized scaled models, and as huge display models. There are also minifigure scaled models, but that's more or less something only for shuttles. This ship here is too big for a minifigure scale model. And yeah, I always prefer the huge sets, and this is why I got the display model and not the mid-sized or mini model. Like all the other Star Trek sets, this is a Pro set, which means it comes in this quite colorful box and it comes with printed instructions. Previously, we didn't get digital instructions for Pro sets, but luckily, in the meantime, BlueBrixx also uploaded digital instructions. So you can decide if you want to build this set with the printed instructions or with the digital instructions. Another thing about the Pro sets is that at least the Star Trek Pro sets are manufactured by Xingbao. And this means that a lot of those pieces come with ugly injection holes on the studs. We get to see this computer-rendered image of the completed build here, and I can say that this is a computer-rendered image because you can see the studs are beautiful. There are no ugly injection holes visible. Let's have a look at the back side of this huge box. There we get to see the completed build from different angles. And yeah, you can also see that the ship comes with a stand and this little info plaque here. The Defiant is a Starfleet warship, and I think it's more or less the only warship class as far as I know. It was developed to have something to fight the Borg. This ship might not be one of the biggest Starfleet ships, but it's definitely one of the most capable ships. And yeah, I think it appeared for the first time in the Deep Space Nine TV series. Yeah, it also says there. It says so over here. And well, I think now it's time to see how deep this box is filled with bricks. Let's open the box. Inside the outer box we find these two white boxes. It says box A and box B, but we can completely ignore the names of these boxes because the bricks are in no way sorted to those boxes. Yeah, and inside the boxes we find the bricks, as I said before, and the instructions. The bricks come in numbered bags. For example, this is a bag with the number 6, which means that the pieces are pre-sorted to individual building sections. Here we also got a brick separator. It's always a bit strange that these Star Trek sets come with giraffe-shaped brick separators, but at least we get a brick separator. And here is an unnumbered bag which contains plates and printed pieces. Wow, those are huge printed pieces, that's cool. And we also get these prints over here, which are printed on several pieces at once. You can see that those pieces are pre-attached to plates so that the print could be done perfectly. This way you can print on all the pieces in one single go, which means that the prints are perfectly aligned. If you print on every single piece individually, then you never can align the print that perfectly on all those pieces. When we have a look in the instructions, we can see that this set consists of 8 building sections. And inside the instructions we also find this piece of paper. Oh yeah, this set comes with stickers. That's always annoying. I hate to play stickers, but at least those stickers here are transfer stickers, so those are the best stickers you can get. Stickers in general are always awful, but if you have to play stickers, then it's always good to have transfer stickers. And it's also cool that every single sticker comes twice with the set, so if you mess up one of the stickers, you can use another sticker. Alright, I think then I'm going to search all the bags for the first building section. I will open them and empty them on the table, and after that I will start with building the stand with step 1-1. I will come back to you as soon as I see something interesting or something simply doesn't work as intended. Step 1-30. In this step we are using a building technique that the Lego company, for example, doesn't use, but we find this building technique quite often in BlueBrixx sets, and I also showed you this technique in a lot of BlueBrixx Star Trek sets. So what we want to do is to reverse the stud order of this piece here. So to reverse the building direction, we want to turn these anti-studs on the underside of this piece into regular studs. And we do this with the help of those single studs, only studs, hollow studs, Kobe studs they are called sometimes, because I guess they were invented by Kobe, I don't know. And yeah, we also need this tool here. So what we do is that we use this bar as a tool, we stick it in one of those studs, like this. Then we hold the piece where we want to turn the anti-stud into a regular stud. We place the stud down there, and Let me give it a second try. We place the stat down there, and then we hold down the stat with a fingernail, and at the same time we remove the bar. In this step we have to do this a second time with the other hollow stat like this. And now we have turned the anti-stats into simple stats. I think we have to place the segment here, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And now we are able to build stuff on top of it. Step 1-31. We have completed the first building section, in which we have built the stand. And I like that we have kept it quite simple. It's not one of those elaborate, huge stands which, depict the shadow of the ship. No, it's just a simple stand which does the job, I guess. Alright, then let's go on with the second building section, in which we start to build the ship. Step 2-11. They messed something up in the step here. Have a look. This is how our build looks so far. And this is how it looks in the instructions. We haven't placed these Technic bricks here yet. And in this step we are only supposed to place these tiles. We are going to place the Technic bricks in the next step, here. Step 2-31. I'm not used to Technic sets, and this is why I get easily surprised by these huge Technic pieces here. Have a look at this lift arm. And this isn't the only lift arm which we are going to use in this building section. We are going to use quite a variation of those huge lift arms. Step 2-38, substep 5. In the substep we are supposed to interlock a lightsaber handle with a clip. But when we have a closer look, then we can see that we are supposed to interlock the thicker part of the lightsaber with the clip. You can see here where the rings are. That part is supposed to be interlocked with the clip. But this isn't possible. Those rings are just too thick. We have to interlock the lightsaber with the thinner part, just like we interlock the lightsaber with a minifigure hand. Step 2-78. This might be the first time that I have a missing piece in a BlueBrixx Star Trek set. I did have a lot of missing pieces in other BlueBrixx Pro sets and also special sets, but at least so far the Star Trek sets were all complete. So this is a first. I can't find this Technic pin. It's a pin of which one side has the shape of a Technic axle. We have used one of those pieces before, and this is the second time that we are using it. And when we have a look at the inventory at the end of the instructions, there we can see that there are only supposed to be 2 of those pieces in the set. And we didn't even have 2 of those in the set, but only 1 single piece. Luckily, I could find one of those pieces in my collection. Step 2-87. We have completed the second building section. This is how our build looks so far. And it's always astonishing what kind of shapes you can create with Technic pieces. I have no idea what's going on in your brain when you can come up with such stuff. I would have no idea how to come up with such things. This is really amazing. Well, let's go on with building section number 3. Step 3-48. We have completed the third building section. In this building section we already have placed some pieces belonging to the ship's hull, and I have to say it's always very satisfying to place these kind of pieces. Have a look here at how these wedges complement each other. This is so fun. Alright, then let's continue with building section number 4. It seems that this is a rather big building section. We have to open quite a few bags. But have a look at this bag here. It only contains one single 1x1 plate. Strange. Step 4-46. It's time to place the first printed tiles. And here you can see how the tiles look like when they are still pre-assembled. And we have to use these 2 tiles over here. Alright, then let's see if the brick separator, which came with the set, really is worth something. Oh yeah, we can use it. I think those ears won't last very long, but for removing the tiles from this plate here, it does the job totally fine. Then let's have a look. They are placed on the segment like this. Yay! Step 4-54. We have completed the 4th building section, and so far our build looks like this. I think now we can have a good idea how huge our build is going to be. The engines are still missing, which will make the build a bit wider, but other than that, the shape is more or less finished. Now in the 5th building section, it seems that we are going to add stuff to the ship's underside, which, yeah, looks still a bit loveless so far. Step 5-1. In this step we are using the last of the printed tiles, which was assembled to this plate here. And here is a little info box which says, please hold this part B ready for step 6-45. What is part B? Do they mean the plate? Wow, I don't think that we have ever used a plate before, which was used to pre-assemble the tiles for the printing process. We will see. Step 5-2. In this step we are using another building technique to reverse the stud order. You can see here that we use a special piece which the Lego company, for example, doesn't use, but I showed you this piece quite often in other BlueBrixx sets. It's a simple 1x1 plate, but with studs on both sides. Step 5-3. There are more of those pieces. This time 2x2 plates with studs on both sides. Step 5-48. Here we got another special piece with studs on both sides. This time it's a 1x2 plate, but as you can see, the plate part itself is way thinner than a normal plate. But all in all, the piece is as tall as a normal plate. So this rectangular part in the center and the studs on both sides combined are as tall as a normal plate with its studs. In step 5-58, we wet the ship with its stand. So it seems that once we have completed the build, the ship isn't meant to be separated from the stand again. So far the stand is only interlocked via 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 stats. But yeah, nevertheless, it's not so much fun to de-interlock and re-interlock those pieces, so I guess you are not supposed to take the ship off the stand. Alright, then we have completed building section number 5. Let's go on with building section number 6. Step 6-15. Once again, we have to save the plate to which the printed pieces are attached for a later step. In other BlueBrixx sets, we always had to, we were told to throw the plate away. Of course, I never did that. It always entered my collection. But it seems that we are going to use almost all of those plates in this set. Step 6-45. We are really using the plates which were attached to the printed pieces. Step 6-65, and here we are using the other piece. Step 6-94. We have completed building section number 6. For example, we have added this part here on the front and also those two segments here on the rear, on the underside of the rear. And, well, you can see that those segments here are still quite loose. They are only connected via 4 studs somewhere here in the end. And so far this isn't the most sturdy connection. But I hope that we will make this sturdier in the next building section. Building section number 7. Step 7-107. One of the things we had to do in this building section was to build one of the warp nacelles, and in this step we have to wet it with the rest of the build. And yeah, I have already done this, and with that we have completed building section 7. So, besides building the warp nacelle, we also made the things sturdier about which I was complaining in the last building section. You remember that these pieces here were quite loose. Now they are absolutely sturdy. If I remember correctly, we made them sturdy by adding stuff on the other side. Can I turn this around without breaking the build? With just one hand? Oh, it feels a bit dangerous, but it's possible. Alright. So, what we did is that we added this segment up here, and for some reason it also makes the lower part sturdier. There aren't really many studs interlocked with each other, but I don't know, you can see it's pressed below other segments, and by that there is enough tension on the whole section here, and that way the underside is pressed upwards, and this makes the whole construction quite sturdy. Alright, then let's go on with the final building section, building section 8. Step 8-68. We have completed the second warp nacelle, and we also have added it to the main build. Now in the next step, step 8-69, we are supposed to apply some stickers to the build. But when we have a closer look, we can clearly see that those stickers are supposed to be applied to several pieces at once. Not just several pieces like here in the back, but have a look here at the front. Those are a lot of pieces. Have a look at those letters. I'm not going to do this. I wouldn't be able to disassemble the build again without destroying all those stickers. So I'm not going to place those letters here with the ship's name. I'm not going to place those stripes here. And I'm also not going to place these stripes here in the back. At least there are enough stickers, so if you mess up somehow, you, still would have some replacement stickers, but nevertheless, I really hate this building technique. I never like to attach stickers, and I definitely hate to attach stickers to several pieces at once. That's just horrible. So I'm going to skip this step. My ship won't have any stickers. Let's continue with step 8-7. Step 8-84. We have completed the main build, but we still have to build the plaque. With step 8-93, we not only have completed the plaque and, building section number 8, no, we also have completed the whole build. Almost a year has gone by since I recorded the build's other steps, and because of this, our build got a bit dusty. I apologize for that. You might wonder, what did take me so long, since only the plaque was still left to be assembled? Well, you remember, I didn't want to place the stickers, but when we have a look at the pieces where we were supposed to place the stickers, the pieces aren't empty. I scanned the stickers and printed them on the ship. I backed a Kickstarter UV printer project, and it simply took almost a year until I received the machine. But so far, it feels like the machine is worth the long waiting time. First, I scanned the stickers and prepared them for the print. Then I detached the ship's circular part and put it in the printer. Next, I simply let the printer do its thing. For my first print, I think the result looks great. I'm absolutely happy with it. Next, I put a segment to which the parallel stripes belong in the printer. The printer prints. And we receive another sticker replacement. I have reattached the pieces to the main build, and I'm quite happy with the result. I think I messed up this red curve here a bit. It's not perfectly aligned. I did it better with this curve over here. And I think when you have a look at the lines here in the back, you can see that my prints are a bit darker. It's a darker red than the red which was used for the BlueBrixx prints. But nevertheless, I definitely prefer what I did here over stickers. I'm totally happy with this. Well, but enough of that. Let's have a look at the build itself. I think BlueBrixx was able to recreate the ship's shape very well. I guess doing this with only building blocks wasn't an easy task. Here in the front, we got the warhead module, and then on the sides, we got the huge warp nacelles. I think over here we got the impulse engines, plasma vents. I think those are RCS thrusters. The main bridge. Pulse phaser cannons. Targeting sensors. Sensor pallets. A navigational light. The forward targeting array. Here we get the navigational deflector. Sorry for my loud lamp, it makes a lot of noise. But I think now you can see that there are translucent blue pieces. And yeah, we also got here the ship's registry, which we can also see on the warp nacelles. What is this? With the Starfleet emblem and also the ship's name. And the ship's name, of course, can also be seen up here. Let's have a look at the ship's underside. I'm not sure if I can turn this around with just one hand. I guess I will have to put down the camera for a second, and then I will turn the ship on its back. So, the ship is on its back. Let's see what we can find here. I think here on the front there we once again got the Starfleet emblem, but I think at the same time it's a torpedo launcher, I think. What else? Here we got a shuttle bay. Those are probably more phasers. And here we got also some other lights. I don't know if you can see anything else down here. But yeah, I think for an underside it's quite detailed. If you want to detach the ship from its stand and swoosh it around, this is absolutely possible. The ship is extremely sturdy. But since we have to re-interlock 16 studs when we want to put the ship back on its stand, I'm simply not going to do this right now. I'm fine with the stand itself. It is a simple stand and it does its job perfectly fine. Some other Star Trek models use, quite fancy stands, but I'm not a fan of that. A stand should not be in the focus. I think it simply should not attract any attention. The ship is the set's star, not the stand. And the stand should always stay in the background, and I think this stand here does that perfectly fine. Alright, what else? We haven't talked about the plaque so far. It's nothing special. I think it's a bit huge for just so few information which we get from this plaque. So we got a huge Starfleet emblem, then we got the Star Trek DS9 logo, the ship's name, and we also get to see the ship from its side. And the only real information we get about the ship is its length, 170 meters. I think for that we wouldn't have needed such a huge plaque. Or alternatively, they could simply have given us more information on the plaque, so not just only the length. But to be honest, I never really care much about the plaques or info plaques. At least it's not a sticker. It's nice to have, but it's nothing I really need. Assembling the build was much fun. The build looks quite complex with its oval shape, but it isn't really difficult to build. Maybe it's not a set for absolute beginners, but even without a lot of experience, you should be able to assemble the spaceship. There are 2 tiny errors in the instructions, but nothing problematic at all. The instructions can be followed easily. I didn't run into any steps where I didn't know what to do. The bricks used for the set do their job totally fine. Those are not the best bricks on the market. The tolerances could be better, but they are sufficient for the set. I didn't have any problems with the clutch power. What I do not like is that the pieces come with quite huge injection holes. Have a look here. This, just looks ugly. Not all the studs are covered in the final build, as you can see here, and that simply means that we sadly get to see a lot of those crater-like injection holes in the final build. But the most annoying part about the bricks is, that simply one of the pieces was missing. I definitely hate it when this happens. Luckily, I had the right spare piece in my collection, but this doesn't permit BlueBrixx to sell incomplete sets. I guess most people are not that lucky to, just have the needed piece in their collection. Another thing I don't like about the set are the stickers, especially stickers that you have to apply to several pieces at once. You can't disassemble all the pieces again without damaging the stickers. The set comes with a lot of great prints. I definitely love those. And I understand that the stickers up here would be completely uneconomic as prints. Nevertheless, this just annoys me. And that's why I printed the pieces myself. But all in all, I can't complain much about the set. It's a beautiful build and a very sturdy build. It survived several car rides and not a single piece did fall off. That's really cool. If you can find this set for a reasonable price, then I think it's the perfect addition for every Star Trek collection.